go.
Missing someone. Love is all you want. Missing someone. Love is
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? And Don won't try any of my margarita.
Apparently,
Anyway,
I don't get consulted on decisions about this podcast. So,
oh yeah, quick little update. Quick little update before I introduce my fellow co-host.
Do I know about this update? Dan's kicked off the pod?
We are we are sort of semi working on a possible new co-host. And it's very
to replace Danny?
fentanyl-rific.
Yeah, watch out for fentanyl.
But
I don't know if I want to be a part of this.
But more news when it develops more. Anyway, I'm joined here with my favorite co-hosts, Mr. Donnie Rowe.
Hello.
And Mr. Dano.
Not his favorite. That's why he said his favorite, Donnie Rowe. And then, g'day, mate. It's me, Dan from Down Under.
And this is why Don is my favorite co-host and not Dano.
This whole episode brought to you from Australia.
I hope your daughter fucking kicks you.
My daughter kicks me.
Yeah, isn't she the one that said stop fucking doing the accent?
No, Marisol did.
Oh, I hope Marisol kicks you then.
Someone will kick me eventually.
Lupe, kick him.
So I have a funny story on the way here. So on the way here, I decided to call my lovely 21-year-old daughter, Miss Rayne, my sweet baby Ray.
Sweet baby Ray.
Yep. And I wanted to ask her permission to play a speech she gave at Logan's going away party, which you guys will hear later in this episode. But as we're talking about her being at Illinois State University, and we're talking just, they're talking about their drinking wine. So her, Marisol, and Carrie, my ex-wife, are hanging out right now. Mm-hmm. And Rayne's like, we got 3 bottles of wine. So she's like, yeah, we're going to drink wine. It's like this. So I'm like, it's like Boone's Farm or something cheap like that. I go, back when I was younger, there was something around called
Mad Dog 2020.
Well, no, I said there's something called $2 Chuck. I go, I have no idea what it was short for. I go, and Rayne started laughing. She goes, we have someone at ISU called $5 Chuck. I'm like, somebody? Not a something. She goes, yeah. She goes, this guy that drives you around. If you want, instead of getting an Uber, it's only $5 for a ride. He gives you a ride home. So me and Marisol and Carrie.
Yeah, right?
Well, me and Marisol and Carrie are like, all right, interesting. We're like, I'm like, well, Ray, she goes, yeah, because, Ubers sometimes are $15 and this and that. She goes, he's the best thing, it's $5. So I'm like, is this someone your age, Rayne, like a 21-year-old, or is some like 50-year-old pervert? She goes, no, he's not our age. He's a 50-year-old guy, but he's not a pervert. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, he's not in a minivan with candy. She goes, well, actually, she goes, he is in a minivan. He does have candy.
Oh,
I'm like, oh, you fuck. So me and Carrie and Marisol are like.
Haven't you ever taught your daughter not to get into a car with strangers?
As I'm driving, I'm like, Carrie, I go, we have failed as parents. I go, how is she still alive right now? I go, Ray, I'm like,
she's still alive.
I'm like, I'm
right
so
now.
glad every time I talk to you on the phone, I end it with, I love you and you love me. I go, because it might be the last time I talk to you if you're doing this shit. I go, the number one thing we teach you is stranger danger and stay away from old guys in a van with candy. I go, and she goes, yeah, but it's only $5. So then Carrie's like,
yeah, but
oh my God.
God.
So not only are you going towards the van, but you're paying him to take you. So I'm like, oh.
That reminds me of the TikToks where the parents are like, say a stranger comes up to you in a van and they have puppies in the van. What do you say to them?
I'm gonna
and the
pet
baby's like, yes, please.
So that's why I said it was just all of us like cracking these jokes like, oh, hey, you have candy? Fine, I'll pay you $5. You can take me anywhere you want. I'm like, oh.
That's hilarious.
So I'm like, it's not like a panel van or anything. Is it right? She goes, no, it's not a white van. She goes, it is a black van and it has windows. But yes, he does have candy in the back. I'm like, oh, my God.
That's fucked.
Does she check the candy wrappers for holes?
I don't know, but I just told her. We all like, oh. So that's her version of, that's her $5 Chuck at ISU. Some guy that drives around and give drunk kids rides home from bars for $5.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm like,
that's so sketchy.
I know. It's going over my, I've literally, like right now I'm thinking this might have been my last time talking to Rayne if she gets drunk at ISU again.
Oh dear Lord. Rayne. I know you're not going to hear this, but please take care of yourself.
I know you're not going to hear this.
Yeah, because Chuck's going to have her tied up somewhere.
No, she doesn't listen to our podcast.
Right.
So you'll have to have Marisol
Right.
repeat it back
Yeah.
for her. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
So, yes, that was my ride over here tonight, is finding out my daughter is kidnap material. She's a kidnapping waiting to happen.
So should you still just continue to pay for this college education, or
You know, it's money well spent. Obviously, she learned to never accept. Oh, wait, never mind.
does
Wrong.
she learn?
No.
So I lost part of my tooth today.
Did you get it right from Chuck, too?
I'm still alive.
Well, that's because you lost part of your tooth, giving him his payment.
Yeah. Whoa.
He can't hear, so he doesn't get to react.
I heard it faintly.
Ooh,
Terrible.
horrible.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
That's not good, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Speaking of MK,
Okay.
listen to MK podcast, MMKAY,
Yes.
and Memento Mori, and Stir the Pot.
And impulsive thoughts.
Well, that's us. But I heard we have a pretty good episode from Mr. Dano today.
We have an episode. Let me get my Australian voice ready, though.
Oh, Lord.
God.
I'm going to mute him the entire episode.
And also, I need to, my next time I come over here, I'm bringing a case of Foster's, because that's Australian for beer.
Yeah, but you know what? So I've learned
Yeah.
from one of my other...
His jokes might be like the guy from Baby Reindeer.
Oh.
I'm only on episode 4. Take it easy.
Dang. And that bad? I think I'm worse.
So Serena Williams
Oh,
really let herself go.
man.
No, what was I saying before that?
You learned something when I said something about Australian for beer. Have you ever had Foster's?
No, I haven't. I wouldn't mind trying it, but
Is it made in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. But I hear that that's actually not the Australian, like the people that from Australia
Right.
go for. I
Just
don't know
like
what they
Mexicans
actually
don't
go
drink Modelo or Corona.
for. That's false.
Oh, wait, wrong. Just like white trash doesn't drink Bud Light. Oh, wait a minute. I just lost 50% of our listeners.
Well, there goes our numbers.
So,
Hey, Velma, do you need a new co-host?
well, you said you're getting a new co-host here, so you just take my
Well,
spot.
don't pawn him off on her. Don't
No,
be
I'm
that
talking
mean.
about myself. This is the last episode of Impulsive Thoughts.
Well, looks like my Friday's just freed up.
Because they freed up so much.
So, back to my episode now.
All right. What do you got? What do you got?
Since you guys all know my episodes, I usually base around things going on and time of the year. And since I'm a glutton for punishment and just love to depress myself more,
Oh, boy.
Great, Danny's gonna cry tonight.
no, the beginning part I won't. But I
The
did.
beginning part.
I Googled and I came up with a few. It says the 10 weirdest military mysteries.
Oh, God. Why would you do this to
No,
yourself?
no, they're not like that. Then they're short. Like I didn't do full, so it's not going to be like a million-hour episode because I didn't do like all research deep dive into them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these I think I will want to do a deep dive and
No,
do.
I think
full
Lupe
episode.
means why would you do that? As in go down this rabbit hole, depress yourself, and think of what could happen.
Well, that's why when I first looked these up, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Because like I said, I'm a glutton. But there's nothing in here that made me depressed about the Logan situation. So
yeah, it's not like you searched up like worst military deaths of all time.
Right, and that's what I originally was going to look up.
Oh,
unsolved.
Jesus Christ.
I was going to look up unsolved military deaths, but then I didn't. I just did unsolved military cases. So, yes. So, as I was going to say, the first weirdest military mystery is called "The Foo Fighters Were More Than Just a Band Name." So, almost everyone has heard of the Foo Fighters, but few realize the origins of the 90s rock band's name. In World War II, the Foo Fighters were a genuine concern. At night, American and British aircraft pilots frequently spotted bright lights in the distance. At first, they assumed the lights were Russian or German flyers, until they began to move, that is. The lights would change direction and speed away faster than any aircraft possibly could. Hundreds of reports were recorded, with some pilots even reporting dogfights with them. Since no one was able to figure out what the crafts were or who piloted them, they were given the nickname Foo Fighters. To this day, it's one of the biggest military mysteries of World War II. See, that's how these stories are. They're real short, to the point, you know.
I'm reading along with them.
because the second half's where I'm going to cry. So after I'm done with my 10 stories. Because then we're getting some real shit where... Funny story, Donnie sent me a text. He goes, while he's reading the speech of Rayne, he's like, or he saw the video of it, he goes, somebody cutting onions around me? Or he said something about...
something's in my eye.
Oh, yeah, something's falling from my eye. What is this stuff? Or whatever you said, yeah. So then, mystery number deuce. Or dose, or two.
Okay, we get it. Part 2.
The Red Baron's killer was never found. The Red Baron, a German fighter pilot during World War I, was so famous that even Snoopy knew of his aerial prowess. Yep, I knew about that one. I love that episode. He was one of the most lethal fighters in history with over 80 confirmed kills. He was a serious threat to the Allied forces throughout the majority of World War I until he was mysteriously shot down. A Canadian pilot named Roy Brown claimed to have shot down his plane, but the details of his story didn't quite make sense. No one knows for sure who killed him, but whoever it was would have had their name in their history books. The Red Baron was such an amazing pilot that the Allies actually helped to give him a decent burial in France in honor of his skill. That's fucking crazy. Because I bet you they wouldn't have done that for Chris Kyle, the fucking insurgents over there.
The fucking American sniper.
Mm-hmm. Spicy margarita.
It just makes me think of the sound clip where it's like that deep voice. Spicy.
Story 3. A Hungarian soldier turned out to be a serial killer, and he was never found.
What?
Yes. See? That's why these are some crazy stories that I want to do some deep dives on some of these. During World War I, a man named Bela Kiss enlisted in the Hungarian army.
What a name.
Right. He notified his landlord that he would be away for some time, and he left for war. Sometime later, the landlord heard that Kiss had died in combat, so he decided to rent the house to someone else. When he arrived to clean it out, however, he walked into a house of horrors. Several bodies were inside, preserved in alcohol, all belonging to women who had disappeared. It turns out Kiss had been tricking women into marriage before killing them and taking control of their finances. Despite an extensive search and a few reported sightings, he was never found. So, don't know if he died in war or not, but he was never found.
Wow.
I know, it's some insane shit. Number 4. Quattro, if you will. This is a bilingual episode. I think I'm drunk off of 3 sips of a margarita already. It's a lot of tequila you put in there. I'm just in a good mood.
Sure you don't want to try it, Don?
I'm just in a good mood. I'm with my bros tonight. I needed this. A plane vanished out of thin air, starting the legend of the Bermuda Triangle.
I do want to deep dive on the Bermuda Triangle.
Man. So it's crazy. As a kid, I always thought almost I'm picturing as a kid, there's a force field where you crash into it and your plane crashes. Then as I got older, I heard more the radars and shit stops working. But I still have never really looked into things just disappear and go in there and there's never seen again. It's fucking crazy. It scares the shit out of me.
So there's 2 triangles.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Bermuda Triangle, and then I want to deep dive on the Lake Michigan Triangle.
Excuse me. There's a Lake Michigan Triangle?
Yeah.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the Bermuda Triangle in the middle of the lake?
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh.
I've never heard of that.
To the point where there was actually a couple boaters, or just one. He was on his boat, and there were chunks of ice falling from the sky.
What?
And when I say chunks of ice, I'm not talking about hail. No, I'm talking about chunks the size of a refrigerator.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Are there video of this?
There's just reports, no video. So, yeah.
Happened to one person only?
I think more than one person.
Now you have my interest.
Yeah, look it up, dude. It's fucking crazy.
I will. Let me stop the episode right now.
I think just for I think the triangle is supposedly like around Sheboygan, somewhere north of Grand Rapids,
Okay.
and then the tip is like near South Bend.
Just a tip, though.
Just a tip.
Yep.
We're little fucking kids.
Yeah, we are.
So, the plane.
It's really giggly this episode.
I'm
Did
trying
he
to
smoke weed tonight?
see what happened was I worked hard today. So, it's hard to imagine that 6 planes could straight up disappear, but that's what happened. On December 5th, 1945, 5 Grumman TBM Avenger torpedo bombers, collectively known as Flight 19, stopped responding to the control tower while on a training flight. A Mariner flying boat was deployed to search for the missing planes, but the Mariner soon vanished too. While no bodies or wreckage were ever found, 27 men and 6 aircrafts were never seen again. While many rumors cropped up over the years, the disappearance probably has nothing to do with the supernatural. The most likely explanation, boring, is that Flight 19's leader, Navy Lieutenant Charles Taylor, got so disoriented that he led the planes out to sea until they ran out of gas and crashed into the Atlantic. The rescue seaplane is likely to have exploded, as flying boats were prone to catching fire. Still, after all these years, the resting place of the planes has never been found. Dun, dun, dun.
Kind of reminds me of Amelia Earhart.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to do an episode on that, but I know that's more than a one single episode.
Yeah. There's so many episodes, like I said, like you said, I'd love to do, but it's like, again, it's my own fear of me thinking I won't do justice to it myself,
Yeah.
and people are like, "What the fuck are you trying to do?"
That's how I've been with the
one
big
you're working on,
episode that
yeah.
I want to do.
That's how I was on mine. I told you I fucking threw all my research in the garbage and deleted all my search history. So I'm so fucking pissed. Well, I'll probably bring it back anyways.
And that's why, like, what I told you, like, I want to do leading up to the main one. I think that's gonna help me a lot.
We're gonna have a lot of crying episodes, Donnie. Just so you know,
At least 2 for sure.
get your tear ducts ready.
Give me a heads up so I can call off.
It's not like you're here all the time anyway, so we got your replacement coming anyways. Oh, treated.
Wait, whose replacement is it though?
We already said you're getting replaced.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Can't take that joke.
Whatever. So, numero 5.
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Prepare for lots of fentanyl.
Marissa.
Marissa?
I don't know. I called her every other name.
Yeah, she said out of the 3 of us, I'm the only one that gets her name right.
I get it right all the time. What do you mean the 3 of us?
I think it was just the 2 of us, Don.
I've never called her the wrong name.
Wait, no, the 3 of us, it's right, because I think it was Rayne, too.
Oh, Rayne calls her fentanyl on purpose.
Yeah.
She said it's funny when she goes in the bar. She's
Lysol.
like, I need some fentanyl. And they're like, wait, what? Story 5.
Sorry, Maria.
You're just asking to get punched.
I know.
Or Solomon instead of Marisol. Start with the Sol instead. There you go. It's the boy version. That worked in my head only. Okay?
Anyway, back to your episode.
There was a baby reindeer joke for you. So Serena Williams was a strange ad was placed in the New Yorker magazine, but who published it? Dun dun. Anyone can put an ad in the paper, but one published in the New Yorker was more than a little suspicious.
Zodiac Killer.
The ad was for a real game called Deadly Double, but the copy gave a not-so-secret message, which read, "We hope you'll never have to spend a long winter's night in an air raid shelter, but we were just thinking, it's only common sense to be prepared. If you're not too busy between now and Christmas, why not sit down and plan a list of the things you'll want to have on hand? And that it's no time, really, to be thinking of what's fashionable. We bet that most of your friends will remember to include those intriguing dice and chips which made Chicago's favorite game, the Deadly Double." So a similar ad for the same product included the phrase, "Warning, Alert, Akchung. Okay then. The dice shown in the ad's images were even more strange. Instead of numbers 1 through 6, numbers like 7, 20, and 12 were shown. Some believe these bizarre ads were really a hint to American spies that an attack on Pearl Harbor was on the horizon. The creator's widow has denied any suggestion that the game had any connection with spy activity, but it still seems a little fishy. Dun, 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 dun. Don't know what that tune was. It's fucking spicy margarita got me going.
Don, did you realize that he said bizarre?
What?
I'm gonna message Jamie on Facebook right now and be like, the way Danny's getting returned to you is because of Lupe.
Seriously, is it worse than the old fashions?
I'm just in a good mood tonight, actually. For now.
For now. Until the second half.
Yeah.
Yes. The cocaine's wearing
I was
off.
gonna say he just fucking did a key bump.
Did a line. Did an 8-ball.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
My nose is bleeding.
Probably dying.
My nose supposed to bleed after doing this?
Oh Lord.
Supposed to rub it on my teeth too, right?
Oh my. You want nummies? You want to do nummies?
I don't know what that means either.
It's your gums, not your teeth.
I want a party. Hey guys, you want a party?
Oh Lord. You know all the lingo. What the fuck?
So, number 6.
Oh shit.
Lieutenant Colonel, which, funny story, you know how Colonel spelled? C-O-L-O-N-E-L.
Yeah.
I used to always be like Lieutenant Colonel. I didn't until I heard someone like, you know that word's Colonel. I'm like, all right, so Lieutenant Colonel Pete Ellis.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I was the same way growing up. I'm
Right.
like, how is that Colonel?
Well, yeah, exactly. And you know
Like,
what's funny?
where the fuck is the R?
Right. My mom used to always make fun of one of my aunts because they would go shopping at the mall, and she'd like, just meet me in the lingerie section. Instead of lingerie. So, now that we went over how to pronounce words in English.
It's French.
Yeah, whatever. I'm speaking English. I can go to Australian if I want me to.
No.
Lieutenant Colonel Pete Ellis predicted the bombing of Pearl Harbor over 20 years before it happened. In 1920, Lieutenant. I'm putting Lieutenant and Colonel together. Lieutenant. So Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant. So we told Logan that while he's in boot camp, he's got to talk like Forrest Gump the whole time.
Oh God.
Yes, still, Sergeant.
I just realized that this isn't an episode where you can just say anything because it will throw him the fuck off.
Yeah.
ADHD's in high drive tonight. Squirrel. So,
Oh God.
Lieutenant Dan, in 1920, Lieutenant Colonel Pete Ellis was a bit of an oddball in the Navy. He was known for being pretty solitary, working late into the night. When asked what he was doing in his office so late, he said he was working on a special project. I just did air quotes, but we don't have videos. You guys didn't see that. A year later, he appeared to go mad. He gave a lengthy prediction of the future, including Japan's attack on several islands on the Pacific, the targeting of Pearl Harbor, and the use of torpedo planes. Considering torpedo planes, wow, haven't been invented yet, he sounded crazy. Except he was right. All his predictions were dead on. After his prediction, he asked for a 90-day leave, which was personally approved by the Secretary of the Navy. He was given a sealed envelope and sent off to Europe, but he never arrived. He went to Japan instead, where he mysteriously died. A man who knew him traveled there to search for him, but he was found dead too. It's a strange story with many loose ends, but it's unlikely that we'll ever know the details.
Oh shit, he got Clinton.
That sounds like a good one to research too, I think, for sure. Yeah. Number 7. Getting close to the end. Ralph Sigler's death doesn't seem like an accident. Are you still reading along with me, Donnie?
Unfortunately.
You fuckface. You're supposed to be surprised like everyone else.
Hey, I'm everybody else.
Ralph Sigler, an immigrant from Czechoslovakia, arrived in America when he was 8. He enlisted in the Army in 1947, which to me that sounds weird. If he is an immigrant, how can he join the U.S. Army? Anyways, details to be desired later. And
Desired?
whatever. I don't know what my words anymore. And he got married to a German woman shortly after while he was stationed abroad. This sounds all kind of fucked up. When his tour was over, he brought her back to the States and the couple had a child. Over a decade later, in 1966, FBI agents arrived at his doorstep to let him know he had been randomly selected to participate in counterespionage. How do I get a door? Knock, knock, knock. The family's ordinary life was turned upside down overnight. In the following years, Sigler fed a great deal of false information to the SVR, which is Russia's intelligence agency. When he met Russian officials in person, he quickly earned their trust. He identified 14 SVR agents and over time grew worried that the Russians were starting to suspect something. The FBI approached him by this time, but Sigler made plans to retire from the Army. His first contact with Russian officials came in 1968 in Zurich, and he soon earned their trust. Authorities have speculated that Sigler's work led to the identification of 14 SVR agents. He was given an estimated, this is fucked up, it says $0,000, I don't know, in compensation. So there's a number missing. I don't know if it's 10, 20, 30, 40. Anyways, he was given a large amount of money in compensation. Every last penny of which he gave to the Army. In the mid-1970s, Sigler worried that he was getting in too deep, and the Russians were becoming suspicious, which may have led him to offer extra information under pressure. By this time, the FBI had approached him. The situation grew complicated, and some American intelligence officers were suspicious of his loyalties too. He was forced to take a polygraph test, which showed he was extremely on edge. Concerned, the Army arranged for Sigler to stay at a motel. Sadly, he never left. His body was found in the motel room after he had been electrocuted by 2 motel lamps. While the Army ruled his death a suicide, most believe he was killed and possibly tortured by Soviet agents. In his last call to his wife, he ominously told her, "I'm dying. I never lied." He was later awarded the Legion of Merit Cross for his sacrifices. During the Vietnam War, this is number 8, troops on both sides claimed to be attacked by large ape-like creatures. Vietnam doesn't have apes.
Interesting.
So the Vietnam War was chaotic to say the least, but there's one mystery that has never, ever, not never, ever, ever, never been explained. That's a lot of never evers.
You also double negative and said not never.
Yep, so it means it was ever, never. Troops from both sides often reported exchanging blows with a group of human-like creatures who had reddish hair and ape-like features. Strangely, there isn't a single known species of ape in Vietnam. Other soldiers reported an enormous snake around 100 feet long with a massive 3-foot head. In Vietnamese folklore, such a creature was known as a bull eater. For comparison, the largest snake ever recorded is a reticulated python named the Medusa, who's 25 foot 2 inches long. Either that was a massive exaggeration or a tall tale, or a 100-foot mystery monster is lurking in the jungle.
Shit.
Done. Yeah.
And this is why I don't go to the jungle.
Yeah, that's the main reason I don't go to the jungle, too. Not that I've ever know where a jungle's at or how to get to a jungle, but yeah. A Revolutionary War hospital dealt with plenty of death. Yet, no one knows where the dead were laid to rest. So, during the American Revolution, there was obviously a lot of injuries. To serve these wounded soldiers, a hospital was built in the new town of Easton, Pennsylvania. That's a good name for a town. Needless to say, 18th century medicine wasn't the best. While medical records were poorly kept, it's safe to say that hundreds or thousands died there. The strange part is that there's no record at all of where they were buried. Since there was no formal graveyard nearby, the easiest assumption is that somewhere around Easton, there's a mass grave from the Revolutionary War that is yet to be found. If I lived in Easton, I might move. I don't like that last
Where
line.
is that at again?
Pennsylvania.
Which is a possibility because when I was in Philadelphia,
And you didn't run the stairs.
they said that there was a like massive Revolutionary War.
Really?
Like,
I feel like you have to take Easton there
I feel like I do.
and see if she has any kind of connectivity.
Ooh. Easton, do you feel anything in this area? How about over here? So, Donnie, did you do any like history tours or anything while you're in, like? There's a lot of history there, right? Philly's an old place too, right?
yeah. So one of the nights, I got there like a week early before work started, and we did like a bunch of tourist stuff. And one of them was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a haunted like tour around this like down the historical district, and the guy took us around and like told us all like a whole bunch of different stuff, like how the politicians would visit like the brothels there and all that stuff, and he
This
was
reminds me of the Simpsons episode.
telling us how like the mass like graveyard where the Revolutionary War soldiers are, like there's still probably bones down there in the ground.
That's wild.
And one of the things he said is there would be surgeons who would pay people to dig out bodies from where they are, and they would just practice operating on them.
Wow.
Sounds like H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
He would take bodies and sell the skeletons.
But
Like,
it was a pretty cool tour.
They say UIC has a few of his skeletons. Like they bought some there. Like I don't know if they're still there, but UIC is one of the schools that he sold real skeletons to. He sold them as they were fake, but they were actual real skeletons from bodies he dug up.
I had to talk to Scott.
Right. I want to know if there's any still there. You're right. So the final story. What happened to Paul Whipke?
I thought you were going to say Paul Revere.
Excuse me. No. Paul Whipke. Whip. W-H-I-P.
Real quick, I believe it was called Dark Philly Adult Night Tour.
Well, alrighty then.
That sounds cute. Mental note, go to Philadelphia, run the stairs, be cool and Donnie already, and then do this tour. All right. Done. Fast forward a few years to the 1950s. Lieutenant Paul Whipke was working in the Air Force at Fort Ord, California. He was one of the first to witness an atomic bomb test, and he was doing pretty well. When 1957 arrived, however, things began to go awry. Whipke stopped acting like himself. He dropped weight and he appeared to be constantly ill. He developed black moles all across his body and lost all his teeth. While he was at work, two men in suits frequently arrived to speak with him, and colleagues reported that he always appeared tense when the men left. On July 10th, he left on a trip to Monterey, but he was never seen again. The events following are shrouded in secrecy. The Army cleaned out his apartment almost instantly, and he was classified as a deserter. The Army seemed reluctant to search for Whipke, and in 1977 they destroyed all files on him, yet his status was updated from deserter to killed in action. Some believed he died on a secret CIA mission, but most people believe he suffered from radiation poisoning due to the atomic bomb detonation he witnessed. I guess we'll never know. So that was my 10 most mysterious military curiosities, if you will.
They're all pretty interesting.
Like I said, I want to do some deep dives on a couple of those.
Also, if I remember correctly, you asked about immigrants joining the military.
Yes.
I think in the 40s, the U.S. was like in dire need of military members.
Okay.
So immigrants would come to the U.S., join the military, and they'd get like basically fast-tracked as a citizen.
Ah, yes. Yes. So, you may ask yourself, if you are not a follower of the show, if this is your first episode, what prompted this? Well, if you are a listener, you know the last few weeks I've hinted at it, and we've talked about it, and we've celebrated it.
This motherfucker jumped every hurdle and made sure he mentioned it.
And we celebrated it, and Logan has
Fucking hinted at it.
officially left finally. For the Army, we let's see. I don't know if it was on this episode show at all, but 2 weeks ago we went out in Cedar Lake, Indiana, and sang karaoke and got hammered. And it was me and my wife Jamie and Logan and his girlfriend Marisol / Fentanyl. And Donnie came out, and then brother and sister-in-law Nikki and Kevin, and then Lupe came a little bit later, and we just karaoke'd and had a grand old time with Logan Meister.
Yeah, grand time until I wanted to leave, and Jamie threatened to never let me back at their house if I left.
Because he was leaving. He was being a punk and going and was all having fun.
I know. Dude doesn't work the next day, and he still decided to go home at like fucking 9 o'clock.
And then
Sorry, 9:01.
during the week, Logan came out on Wednesday to watch Easton play softball. And Friday night, we had
When Danny didn't invite me over.
It's okay. He didn't invite me either.
I told you guys all about it. Well, I told you about it. Logan invited you guys. It wasn't an actual thing. It was supposed to be Logan's friends.
Okay, so in all honesty, yes, I did get the invite, but I was taking my mom out for Mother's Day.
Friday night was like a going away party at his grandma's house on his mom's
Oh,
side.
no, that's not what I was talking about.
Yeah,
I
no.
didn't get an invite for that.
No, you were talking about Nashville again.
No, I'm talking about when you made the...
Out of Cheddars?
yeah.
You said you were coming over. I thought you were going to.
No, you said you were going to text me and let me know.
I did text you. It didn't
You
go
didn't.
through? It didn't go
You
through?
didn't text me.
You know how your messages don't go through to me?
No, you didn't text me.
But I kept posting pictures of me cooking it. So, anyways, Friday night, this was just this past Friday, a week ago today, but this drops Tuesday. Anyways, there was a going away party for Logan at his grandma's house on his mom's side in Manhattan, Illinois. And went out there. Me and Jamie and the girls went out there. And it was a lot of Logan's friends. Like his college roommate came from St. Ambrose, and actually it was really touching talking to him. His name's Luca, and he said, like when I first met him, I'm like, hey, who are you? Like he was sitting on a chair by himself. I'm like, hey, I don't know you. Who are you? Like he's like, oh, I'm Luca. I'm Logan's roommate from St. Ambrose. I'm like, oh, I'm Dan, his dad. He goes, oh my God. He goes, it's so good to meet you. He's like, how did I never meet you when I mean Logan? I go, I don't know. I go, I've been to St. Ambrose 3, 4, 5 times. I go, you just were always busy, never around when I came out there.
Only person ever excited to meet Danny.
And he was like, he's like,
Too
let
much?
let me just tell you. He goes, you guys did a great job raising that kid. He's like, he's the reason I got through school. He's like, he's a good soul, a good this, a good that. And he just kept going on and on and on. So then fast forward, and the whole night goes on, and me and Jamie are getting ready to leave because the next morning is Saturday, and we got like an hour ride home, and Easton has softball practice at 8. Rylan has to go to the eye doctor at 8:30, and then all 4 of us have a dentist appointment at 10. So we're like, we got to get home. So as I'm getting ready to leave, this Luca kid stops me. He goes, hey, I just wanted to tell you one more time before you left. I want to say it's really great to meet you. He's like, I can't stress to you enough how I might not be here right now if it wasn't for Logan, how good of a kid he is. He goes, Logan has this persona, this aura. They go, he walks in a room, he goes, and he lights the room up. He goes, people are drawn to him. He goes, there's something about that kid that's just amazing, and he's got this light about him. So it was just good to hear that, from someone his age, not like an adult saying that.
Right.
Someone his age that said that about him was just good to hear. And it was an emotional night, obviously, being there. And I don't know if you want to key it up, but this is the speech that his sister Rayne gave to him in front of everyone that night. And what's it? Trigger warning: have your tissues ready if you get saddened by people giving speeches about their brother going away. What do you have it on?
Facebook.
Okay, the one. Okay, yeah, that's the one. I put the right one on there then, because my Snapchat one was cut in half and I missed some of it, so I got the full video from Marisol.
Yeah, where the fuck is it? I literally just had it. Swearing in. It's when you shaved your head.
It's in the comments.
Oh, that's why. That's why.
Yeah. because it's weird. I updated everything, and when the actual status posted, it took all the videos out. So and it makes no sense because in the way my pictures were, it had us shaving Logan's head first, then mine. Well, in the status now, because with the videos out, all of a sudden you just see me with a shaved head, and everyone's like, "Okay, big deal. Why'd you shave your head, fucker?"
Right.
None of you can understand what I'm saying? Okay. Logan, there are not enough words to describe how proud I am of you. You are the biggest pain in my ass for my entire life. But I guess that is one of the things that I love the most about you. You've always been right next to Mom and Dad as one of my biggest supporters, no matter what I had done to piss you off that day. We have always been right by each other's side, going through anything and everything together. Even when you played baseball and I decided possibly it was forced, but we'll say I decided to play. And even then, you were so happy to introduce me to everyone as your little sister, except when I didn't hit a single ball that season. That's not important right now. And ever since then, I've always been Logan's little sister. Even when teachers would roll their eyes, or coaches would get a little too excited thinking I'd work just as hard as you. Okay. It has always been something I have been proud to say, because you have always been my right-hand man through life. I have been through some shit these past couple of years, and you've always been right next to me through it all. No matter if it was family, friends, or some crazy ex, you were there for every tear, and were there to tell me that it was going to be okay, because we were going to be right next to each other, and we would always have each other. Okay. And that was all that mattered. And I think that's what's going to hurt the most about all of this, is knowing that you're not in the room right next to me, or that you're not going to be down the street, or just a drive home from school anymore. God gave me enough sisters that can easily replace each other if needed. But there's only one of you, even though your legal documents may say there's 3 of you. He made me lucky enough to give me the greatest brother I could have ever asked for, and I would be praying to him every day that to bring you back home to us. If he takes you away, he's better off taking the both of us. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this whole life thing without you, but I know you'll still be by my side. You better take this moment, because I promise you I'm never going to tell you it again. I love you with my whole heart, and I wouldn't trade all of our memories for the world. Maybe a dog, but once again, that's a different story. You have been my best friend, and I can't wait to hear all your stories and see what you become in the life that you finally begin elsewhere. Thank you for being the best big brother Addison, Easton, Ryland, and I could have ever asked for, and looking out for us has been the greatest treasure. Home will not be home without you, but just know we'll be here waiting for you when you come home. And whenever you need us, you just have to close your eyes and know that we're thinking about how much we miss you, how much we love you, and we'll be waiting here when you get back.
That was all.
Who's cutting onions?
So that was the speech Ray gave, and little inside joke there when everyone's laughing about, even though your legal document says there's 3 of you. So me and his mom, when Logan was born, I guess we filled it out, and I'm Daniel Allen Oliver II. I don't remember ever putting a 3rd or anything, but he's Logan Allen Oliver, so I don't know if the hospital did it on their own or if we clicked the wrong box. But weeks later, months later, when the official birth certificate is sent to us, we look at Logan Allen Oliver, blah, 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 we put it away. Not till, I don't know if we had to register him for school or whatever, but years later, we got an official document and we had to register him for school, or even maybe when he was 16, fuck if I know when it was, got his driver's license, and it's Logan Allen Oliver III. And we're like, what the fuck? He's not the 3rd. So the funny story is, so that same night, all these emotions running high, we're outside joking with Logan. He's like, so if me and Marisol have a kid, does he got to be Logan Allen Oliver IV, or what do we do? And we made a joke like, no, you could call him Logan Allen Oliver Sr., go in reverse, or he'll be Logan Allen Oliver II, and just go in reverse some weird way. So Yeah, it's that's the inside joke there. Everyone's laughing at that, but
Logan Allen Daniel Oliver fourth.
so needless to say, yeah, it's
That's a super tearjerker. I mean, even like, you guys were there, and I had I was with my mom. We were out for Mother's Day and everything like that, and I had texted you,
yeah.
and I'm like, "Are you still with him?" And you were like, "Yeah, we're getting ready to leave." I'm like, "Listen," I was like, "You got to tell him this," and then you ended up calling me, and I was like, so close to not answering, and I was like, "You know what? Fuck it, let me answer." And then you were like, "Well, what were you gonna say?" And then you put Logan on the phone, and I'm like, "Holy fuck!" I'm like, and I told Logan, I was like, "Look, dude," I was like, "You're my little brother." I was like, "The little brother that I've never had." I was like, "I'm super proud of you, and I fucking look up to you, even though you're my little brother."
Yeah. And that's like the hard thing to explain, like my feelings. Like, I'm super proud of him. Like, you're serving our country, you're stepping up, you're doing all this, but then the parent me knows there's the risks involved with it.
Yeah.
And also, like, Rayne had that line that I was trying to like convey the last few weeks and I couldn't, about, and I've said it to you guys, I think, like, it's different. He's not away at college. He's not at his mom's house. He's not just a phone call and a 45-minute drive away.
Right.
I can't get a hold of him, and I can't go see him just because I want to. It's different, you know what I mean? So it's just, that's the hard part. So it's just, it's weird. So maybe I won't cry this episode. I'm all cried out. So then that was Friday night. Saturday, so I had texted you guys. I had went earlier in the week. The Jewel in Crown Point had skirt steak, which those of you that are not cool and Mexican, skirt steak is the type of meat that's used for arachetas. Jewel had it on sale for $5.99 a pound, which I honestly have not seen those prices in probably 10 plus years. You're lucky to find them under $10.99 a pound now. So I got a Rayne check because they were all sold out that day, and the sale ended the 7th. Well, Saturday morning after the eye doctor, or was it Friday I went? Because I was on vacation last week. Either way. No, it was Friday. Friday, I went in the morning after dropping Rylan off at school. I went, or no. Anyways, either way, it was Friday. I had Rylan with me because Friday Rylan doesn't go to school. Me and Rylan went to the Jewel, and I got 10 pounds of it, and I seasoned and that shit and soaked it shit and cooked it Saturday night. And I happened to, hint to Logan, hey, I have arachetas, which is his favorite food of all time. And he even mentioned to me, he goes, after we ate it on the Sunday, he's like, I wanted arachetas before I left, and I'm so glad you made it. Because I had asked him earlier in the week, and he had like set plans every day of the week, knowing he was leaving Sunday. So he found a way to get away from some of his plans Saturday to come over and eat arachetas. So it was Rayne, him, and Marisol came and ate with me and Jamie and Easton and Rylan, and just enjoyed a little time there, one last time at our house. And so part of that story is I didn't realize how much all this shit was affecting Easton.
God, that's right. I never even thought of that.
She just hears us talking about Logan, and then she's like, well, what's the Army? Where's he going? This is on the way home Friday night. Like, oh, it's, you go to train to defend the country. Well, why? Like, well, because in case there's a war or something, that's what people in the Army do. They fight for us. So that's why it's an honor. That's why you'll hear people saying thanks for serving to Logan. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So she's like, whatever. Well, Saturday morning, like I told you, we all had to get up early. Jamie and I get up, and it's like 7 o'clock. And Jamie's like, I'm going to go take a shower. She goes, she's got to leave first with Easton. She's taking her to softball. She's like, can you go get Easton up, make sure she gets dressed, and get her downstairs to eat breakfast? I'm like, sure, no problem. So I go into Easton's room, and she's already, this is 7 o'clock. Now, normally on a school day, Jamie wakes them up about 7:15, and she's got to wake them up, and it's a struggle. They don't get up. Easton's this morning, Saturday morning, is already up in her bed, sitting there with like a hard something and a piece of paper, and she's writing a letter. I'm like, what are you doing, babe? I'm writing a letter to Logan. I'm like, okay. I'm like, why? She goes, I have to make sure he gets this letter. She goes, are we going to see him again? She goes, Dada, you're going to see him when you drop him off at the airport, right? I'm like, yes, I will. Okay, I got to finish this letter. I'm like, all right, babe. I'm like, you got to stop for a minute. I'm like, we need you to get dressed because you got to go to softball practice with Mama. I go, and then we got to go downstairs and get breakfast. She's like, okay. So she puts the stuff down, gets dressed, goes downstairs. I get her. She wants Cocoa Puffs, so I get her cereal. We're sitting there, and she's like writing furiously. I'm like, babe, you have to eat your cereal. You need your energy because then we're going to the dentist. We're not coming home right away. You won't have anything else to eat until maybe lunchtime.
Right.
I have to finish this letter, Dad. I have to. Logan has to know this. He has to see this before he goes. And I'm like, listen, I go, he might come over today because he knows we're making out of cheddars. I go, but even if he doesn't, I go, I promise he'll have his letter before he leaves because I'm seeing him Sunday no matter what. Okay. So I got her to calm down a little bit. And she ate her cereal. And then Jamie took her to softball. I took Rylan to, the eye doctor or dentist, came home a little bit later, and she finished her letter. And then, yeah, she gave it to Logan. And, I mean, I don't know if me reading it does it justice, but I'll read it now. We can put a picture of it on Facebook.
Yeah.
But it says on the top, Dear Logan, I love Logan. And it says, I will love you with all of my heart. And I wish you don't die in a war. I will be waiting for you at home. I will be waiting for you with Rylan, me, Rayne, and Marisol. I will pray to you every single day. Don't act stupid like an idiot. Listen so you don't get shot or hurt. And make sure you read this all and keep it in your pocket or your hotel room. Remember that Dad is by your side and never, in all capital letters, never give up. But if you really need to give up, then do it. I thought you would be by my side almost every single day, but you are going to the Army. Now, just remember, I love you so much. I love Logan from Easton. And then she drew a picture, and it said, and we're all wearing matching outfits. And it says Rylan, then it says stepmom for Jamie. It says Marisol, me, you, Dad. And we gave this to Logan. He read it in front of, he read it, and then Rayne read it, and they were like, this is so cute. But then Rayne's like, wait a minute. Marisol's in the family picture, but I'm not. So Rayne's not even in the family picture. And I'm looking at it more and more, too. And Marisol, when you hear this, and because I'm guaranteed Logan has a letter, you won't be able to see it again. But it looks like she may have made your skin a little bit darker than everyone else's, Marisol, because you got that little tan going on, So Marisol's darker than the rest of us. But it was just the sweetest. So that was, Saturday. Saturday night. No. Sunday we dropped Logan off. So that was Saturday night. We gave that. We saw Logan. Blah blah blah. They went to bed Saturday night. Sunday was Mother's Day. We woke up, did whatever with Jamie. Went to her mom and dad's house to see her mom, and then I left them there, and I went to see my mom for a little bit, and then I met Carrie, Rayne, Marisol, Logan's grandma Sandy, so Carrie's mom, and their cousin Serenity. We had to drop Logan off at the airport or at the hotel by MEPS. And he had to be there by 6. So he gets there at 6. He checks in. They're like, all right, you're checked in. You're here. You have to be in the room at 8:30 for a debriefing. And then after the meeting's over, you can hang out with your family till 10, but you got to be in your room, lights out till 10. So we're there. So he comes out. That's at 6 o'clock. He checks in. They're like, he's got an hour and a half till 8:30, 2 hours and a half, So we went and found a park, and we all hung out and we walked around this park, sat by the lake. There's a lake there. There's this big old hill that they all climbed up and rolled down side. Oh, Paul too. I'm sorry, Paul was with us too. Duh. Rolled down this hill and just took a lot of pictures and just hung out. And earlier in the day, Carrie and Paul and the kids and Grandma Sandy and Serenity and then their Logan's godmother Samantha, which Sam from work, they all went to the Brookfield Zoo, which growing up, every Mother's Day, that's what we did. We went to Brookfield Zoo with all the kids. Mm-hmm. So while we're at the park later, we're doing all this shit, getting ready to go, and Rayne had the best quote to all, but she goes, Logan, we just relived our whole childhood in one day. Going to the zoo for the morning, and then going to a park and by a lake, and rolling down a hill, and climbing on trees, and doing all this. She goes, we just relived our whole childhood in one day, Logan. So we're at the hotel, And then, we go back to the hotel. He does his debriefing. He's done for this debriefing from 8:30 to like 8:45. He's back. And so then we're just sitting in like this lobby area, just hanging out with him and just hanging out and talking. And then it comes to about 10 o'clock. And we had literally found out like a day or two earlier that me and Carrie, just his mom and dad, are allowed to go Monday morning to watch him swear in and before he leaves. So Grandma Sandy gave him a hug goodbye. Serenity gave him a hug goodbye. And then Rayne had to give him a hug goodbye, and then Marisol. And it was just, it was sad, because this is Rayne and Marisol's last time seeing Logan.
Yeah.
Me and Carrie we didn't cry too much because we knew we were going to see him one more time the next day. And so it was sad. So I'm on my way home from the hotel, and I call Jamie. Hey, it's 10 o'clock. I'll be home about 11:30. It's about an hour and a half away. And she's like, we can't talk about Logan in front of Easton anymore. I go, why? What's wrong? She's like, she's just so worried about him. She cried herself to sleep Sunday night. Like, she made Jamie lay in bed with her, and she cried herself to sleep, just worried about Logan. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I get home, I wake up at 4 o'clock the next morning, so I have to go to work still. And I have to be at MEPS by 9 o'clock. So I leave work 7:30, get there about 8:30. See Logan right away, and he's like, hey, how's it going? He signs up, and then he gets to wait in the parents' waiting room with us, so we get to hang out with him, not just watch him through a glass mirror. They give us a rundown, blah, 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 blah. He's going to get sweared in, just this. So we go in there. He does the whole ceremony. He's got to, they do the whole swearing in and everything, all this shit. And they let us know, hey, you can take pictures with him by the flag that they're going to serve. So we took pictures in front of this Army flag. We got to do some more paperwork with him. But parents, you're allowed one last chance to see him before they get on the bus, takes him away. If you guys want to wait outside, they'll be out in a little bit. This is like 11:15-ish, 11:30-ish now. We go outside, me and Carrie. Before we walk outside, Logan's like, here, this is for you. He had handwritten a letter addressed to me and Carrie. It said, Mom and Dad, one to Easton and Rylan, one to Jamie, one to my mom, and then on Carrie's side, one for Paul, one for his sister Addison, and one from his Grandma Sandy and Grandpa George. So me and Carrie, we go outside, and we're waiting, and I'm like, do you want to read this now or wait till he leaves? She goes, let's read it now. So we read this letter that he writes to us, and
That was the worst thing you could have done.
we're both like bawling. It's pretty good letter. I don't know if I'm going to share that one on the air or anything, but it was nice. So I took a picture of it, and I told her, I'm like, you can keep the hard copy, obviously. I go, I just need a picture of it. So we're waiting. He finally comes out about 12:30-ish, and we got one last hug in. He's like, hey, guys, he goes, because inside they had told us all these military people that are leaving, there's 11 families total. So 11 people were leaving that day. That they let us know they might not get to their base till later at night, depending on when their flight is, blah, blah, blah. And Logan the whole day thought it was a 5-hour flight to where he was going. Well, he walks outside, gives us a hug. He's like, hey, it's 12:30. Like, the bus is taking us to O'Hare. He goes, my flight's at 2:55. I'll land in Oklahoma at 4:55. I'll be on base by 5:30, or at 5 o'clock I'll be on base already. We're like, holy shit. So, like, right away, no wasting time. Yeah. So we gave him a big hug, and I got a picture of him sitting on the bus and a video of the bus, of him sitting in the bus, and that's the last image I have of him. And then, so then I'm driving home from there, and I call Jamie again. I'm like, how are the kids getting to school today? She goes again, Easton this morning, bawling her eyes out, didn't want to go to school. She was worried about Logan again. So cried herself to sleep Sunday night and then Monday morning before going to school. So
Wow.
I said, I'll have a talk with her. I go, when she gets home from school today, this is Monday, I'm like, I'll talk with her and explain a little bit more to her. So I get home, and she gets home from school about 4 o'clock. And I'm like, hey, babe, I know Mom said you were crying about Logan. I go, you don't have to worry about him. I said, do you know where he's going? She goes, the Army. I go, do you know what he's doing? She goes, no. I go, he's going to train right now. I go, he's going to learn how to work out with friends. He's going to learn how to use weapons. I go, he's not going to war. Nothing's happening. He's safe. He's fine right now. And then I'm like, oh, light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, look, let me show you some pictures. So I actually Googled Fort Sill, which is where he's going, Fort Sill in Oklahoma. And I showed her, I go, you see all those guys right there? Look at how they're just walking. I go, and they're working. They're doing sit-ups and push-ups. I go, he's just working out right now. Oh, okay. I'm like, nothing's happening. I go, it's just like being at college, but he's working out with friends. She's like, oh, okay. And it seemed to calm her down. And she, knock on wood.
Next picture is fucking war.
No, yeah, no, I made sure, no, so she seems calm, and she hasn't cried about it since Monday now. So
Good.
she's been good. And I told her, I said, in 10 weeks, I go, when it's summertime still, I go, Logan graduates. I go, we can go see him. I go, we can see him for a day. I go, and he might be able to send us pictures while he's there. I go, or he might be able to call us. I go, but he's not in war. You don't have to worry about him. He's good right now. Okay, so she's been fine. So I'm sitting there after she's home from school, and I'm going on my Snapchat stories looking at it, and all of a sudden I see Logan had updated his story. I'm like, the fuck? So I click on it, and it's a picture, and it says, see you in 10 weeks, and it's the Life 360. He took a picture of the map, and it's him in Oklahoma and all the family circles up here in the Chicago area. And he's like, see you in 10 weeks. Love you guys. Miss you guys. So I responded to his snap. I'm like, hey, when did you get your phone taken away? Thinking he's not going to answer. He's like, oh, I'm still on the bus from the airport to base. Got an hour to get to base. So he's like, probably when I get there. So we messaged a few times back and forth, and still, I just checked about an hour ago. The last message I finally sent him, he hasn't opened yet. So he must have got to base and hasn't opened the last message I sent him. So, but I talked to him very little through Snapchat texting,
it was
that
funny
last
because
Monday.
apparently, like, I'm still a part of the Life 360 with all you guys.
Yeah.
And I see Logan landed in Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I dropped out of that. I deleted myself from that whole group.
Did you really?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't need anybody knowing where I'm at anymore. So
I mean, I don't give a fuck.
No,
like,
I
they want to know where I'm at. Hey, hi.
right.
You want to have a drink with me? I'm here.
Right. So
Fuck you, Rayne.
Donnie's talked too much this time.
I know. Do you need a hug?
Are you tired, Donnie?
Do you want another shanty? Okay.
So, anyways, that concludes my whole farewell to my son, and yeah, like I said, I put on my Facebook status when I put all these pictures and everything that when I'm alone is when it hits me the hardest. So, like, every morning when I'm showering, I want to say this whole week I've literally probably teared up every morning in the shower, and then my ride to work, ride home from work. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever, it's my boy. It's dangerous when I'm alone with my thoughts. That's all.
No, I totally get what you're saying.
It is. So, but as the week's gone on, like, I thought I was definitely going to cry this whole episode, and I haven't. Like, he's there, he's doing his thing. It's after the 10 weeks are up.
Was fucking Rayne calling me a grandpa.
Right. After the 10 weeks are up is when I will have to worry, because that was the worst thing that happened at his farewell party. Taylor, my niece Taylor, so my sister Nikki, her daughter came there with her boyfriend. And I guess the first 5 minutes there, he's talking to Carrie. Taylor, hey, this is my boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, I just had a friend go through basic about a couple months ago. He finished his 10 weeks. He was supposed to go do his AIT training. They said, nope, we need you in Baghdad right now. So they shipped him out.
Yeah, I remember you saying
so
that.
Carrie's like bawling her eyes out because so now she's got a new fear to worry about that maybe we don't have, because he's supposed to do, now here's a breakdown for anyone that's wondering. 10 weeks basic training in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. We'll have a day to spend with him for his graduation. He ships out the very next day to Fort Sam Houston in San Antonio, which is weird. It's Sam Houston in San Antonio. But he'll spend 16 weeks there doing his AIT training or his MOS, which I don't know what those letters stand for, but he's going to be a combat medic. Mm-hmm. So he's trained to be a combat medic. As soon as that
medic
ends...
on site.
Oh, what? Is that what he said?
MOS?
No, material...
I was going to say medic on site.
No, it's military operating service or system.
Oh, okay.
Whatever he's going to learn. And I don't know what AIT stands for, but it's the AIT school... Army intelligence training. I don't know. I don't even want to guess. I'm probably wrong. But it's 16 weeks of training in Fort Sam Houston, which is in San Antonio, Texas. And I believe we get to go for a graduation there, too, if we want to. Now, from there, he was supposed to go to his base, but he signed up. He wants to do airborne training.
Military occupational specialty.
There you go. So he'll go from San Antonio to Fort Bennington, Georgia, to train for 2 weeks on how to jump out of an airplane. He's going to get his wings and do airborne training.
That's awesome. When
that's done, he said he thinks he gets a week off, so we might be able to see him for a week. That should be right around, I think, Thanksgiving or Christmas time. And then he goes to where he's supposed to be stationed the next 4 years in Fort Carson, it's in Colorado. Now, again, because of the story, Taylor's boyfriend has said, anything can change as soon as basic's over.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because again,
100%.
his shit's already changed twice. Like originally, when he first signed up for the Army, he was supposed to be stationed in Honolulu for 4 years, but he, had a chemical burn on his foot. They said come back in 2 weeks when it's healed. Okay, yeah, you passed it in those 2 weeks. Okay, now we're putting you in Colorado instead of Honolulu. So he's supposed to be in Colorado 4 years. But again, like I said, once basic's done, or AIT's done, or anything's done, it could always change. But as of now, his orders are to spend 4 years in Fort Carson in Colorado. So that finishes my dedication to Logan and military stories for the week. If anyone else wants to talk,
So you said
I feel
10 weeks till he graduates, right?
yeah. So right around the last week of July.
And he's going to be Oklahoma where he graduates?
Yeah, it's like a 12-hour drive from here. I've already Googled it because I'm not going to fly with the girls and everything. So
Maybe I'll make that trip with you.
yeah, it's going to be me, Jamie. and the
Even if
kids.
I fucking follow you.
Yeah. So it'll be cool to go see him graduate from there. And I guess they have a family day, so we get to spend like a whole day with him before the actual graduation.
Yeah. I went down to Fort Bragg, which was in Missouri,
Okay.
where one of my buddies graduated basic training.
Mhm.
He joined what the fuck did Jason do?
No clue.
National Guard.
Okay.
National Guard. He ended up after basic training, he ended up going to Iraq.
Wow.
He went to Kuwait.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's seen a lot of shit himself. So
Well, our next door neighbor, Chris, always thought was in the Army. Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He and today I actually talked to him. I'm like, hey, yeah, my boy went away, blah blah blah. Or no, yesterday I did. One of the 2 days. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm like, how long were you in? He's like, oh, I think 3 or 4 years total I did. He goes, I was actually National Guard, but spent a year in Iraq and Iran and all that shit too. He saw time. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I didn't know you went there. So he was there during all that shit too. He's like, yeah.
My buddy, he was in Kuwait. Then he came back for a little bit, and then he went to Afghanistan, and then he came back, and then I think he ended up going to Kabul.
Oh, wow. That's a bad place.
Yeah, he was everywhere, and he's seen a lot of shit, and he ended up getting injured.
That's where Chris
so-
Kyle was at in all those places.
Yeah, he ended up getting injured, and I think he came back, and he had his honorable discharge if he wanted it,
Mm-hmm.
but he wanted to sign up again, and I guess the evaluation that he did, he couldn't. So he was completely out of it.
Wow.
So now he's my age, fucking retired, with like 35 kids.
Funny shit. So, yeah, sorry you were bored the last half there, Donnie.
Do you need a hug?
No.
If I come over there, will you hit me?
Yes.
Okay, then I won't hug you. No, I mean, I remember 2010-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I remember 2010-ish. I was thinking about joining National Guard, and but I never did it. I mean, I just.
Yeah. I don't think I would be allowed to even if I wanted to because of my brain surgery that I had.
Yeah, and I always thought that too. Like if they ever,
Because your asthma?
if they ever did the draft again.
Yeah.
Number one, technically, I'm an only child,
Oh, yeah.
and two, I have asthma.
See, but I don't know about that whole only child thing, if that's true anymore. Well, I mean, I guess for draft-wise, but, that whole shaving Ryan's privates, when they go...
Whoa! Wait a minute! First off, that's a porn. I think you're thinking of Saving Private Ryan. Oh my god!
Saving Ryan's privates?
No, the other way.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, that whole, if anyone has, that whole thing's based on them getting the soldier out because his two brothers died and he's their last son. So it's funny, I was thinking about that. I'm like, Logan's technically my only son that can carry on the Oliver name.
Yeah.
But I guess if that's only for like draft time and wartime purposes, he'd come out. Because,
Right.
he's the only Oliver son that I have that can carry on the Oliver name. I mean, there's other Olivers that have sons, but he's my only Oliver son,
Right. Yeah, I think as far as draft, like if he never would have enlisted and everything like that, like
Yeah.
I think he would have been safe technically.
Yeah.
But then again, at the same time, like this world's so fucked up. Like
Right.
if it would have gotten that bad, they would have drafted everybody,
Right. True.
including us.
Yeah.
You know, my grandpa S.
Grandpa Lupe. Grandpa Lalo.
Rayne.
Yeah, I wish you had headphones for that, Donnie. You would have been fucking dying laughing. Now you got to listen to this episode to hear all the shit Rayne talks about him.
He's like, nope.
So with that being said,
Yeah, long episode. It's already hour 40.
yep.
I mean, I'll cut a lot out, but
Yeah. So once again, I've always respected our military. I still do, and now even more so.
yeah, 100%. I mean, I will always back the military.
And you know what's interesting is tomorrow, Saturday, is National Armed Forces Day.
Oh, it's really?
Yeah, I don't know what it means. I know Memorial Day is we honor the ones that have died already, and then
Right.
Veterans Day is we honor the ones that are still alive.
Mm-hmm.
So Logan's neither a memorial or a veteran yet.
Yeah.
So, but he's in the armed forces now. So Saturday, tomorrow, I guess. I don't know what it means. I've never paid that much attention to it. So
Also, all our local listeners, come out to Lake County Fairgrounds and come find me
when?
on June 2nd.
Oh,
I entered my motorcycle into a motorcycle car show.
nice.
So come vote for my motorcycle. It's
Red
yes, it's red.
with Dia de los Muertos stuff all over it.
It's people's choice. It's not judge choice, which is nice. So it means I have a chance.
To get all your friends there, because you know some of the people have like, bring all my friends.
Oh
and I'll
yeah,
vote for 'em."
absolutely. So come on out.
I mean, if you see a better bike, go ahead and vote for it. You don't got to
Oh
vote
yeah,
for it. No.
absolutely. No. I will 100% back that up too.
Oh, I was joking, but okay.
I'm voting for someone else anyway.
Don just hates me.
Don hates everyone.
But yeah, I mean, come out. So yeah, come on out. All you local thinkers. Next week we'll have a pretty good episode by Don again. Actually, I'm just kidding. But yeah, good episode.
Thank you.
I don't know how much will 100% go into this episode, but you know, I'm sure a lot will.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find us on all your major podcast platforms. Rayne, fuck you. On Instagram.
Now you sound like Kevin Hart during the roast of Tom Brady.
Impulsive Thoughts _pod on Instagram.
Facebook, Impulsive Thoughts. You can find us on YouTube, Snapchatter, TikToker, Instagrammer, everywhere.
Yeah, and I feel like when I do the car motorcycle show, I think I'll probably go live. So.
Nice.
But yeah. And then, again, go listen to my sister from another mister, MK. MMKAY.
Okay.
And Memento Mori, Miss Cardi B, Carissa,
Yeah.
on her podcast. And Velma at Stir the Pot.
Yep.
She's going to be back over at Squonkapalooza.
Yeah. And then Only Dance Down Under.
And, yeah. Mr. Donnie Rose falling asleep over here. So,
Past his bedtime, and we bored him with the family sad stuff.
but anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys listening if you guys are still listening. So, we're going to sign off.
Yes.
We love you guys. I'm joined here with my favorite co-host, Mr. Donnie Rowe.
Adios.
Whoa. Donnie, I thought you were Italian, not Mexican.
Hey, Don. Sing Dominic the Donkey.
No, fuck you guys.
And Mr. Dano
fuck
to
you
my
all.
left.
Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Good night, Mike.
And I am Lupe, your favorite host with the most.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking slit my throat right now.
That's not going to help you not hear it.
Remember, guys, don't believe everything you think.
Yeah.
Peace.